Stop right here, because what I am about to share with you today is something that will change the way you handle pain forever. And this is not about revenge, and this is not about anger, because this is about the quiet power that lives inside both you and the power most people never discover. So if someone has ever hurt you and you wondered how to respond, then stay with me, because by the end of this message you will understand why silence is the most powerful response you will ever give. People do not regret losing you because you begged them to stay, and they do not regret losing you because you cried, and they do not regret losing you because you fought for their attention, but they regret losing you when you become silent. Silence is a mirror because it forces them to see the truth they were running from, and when you stop reacting, they start remembering every moment they took for granted, and when you withdraw your presence, they begin to regret the comfort they lost, and when you choose peace over chaos, they feel the weight of what they destroyed. And this is exactly what I wish to share with you today, which is 7 silent behaviors that make people regret hurting you even when you say nothing at all. 1 is you observe everything but react to nothing, because nothing frightens a guilty person more than your calm silence, and when someone hurts you, they expect a reaction, and they expect tears, and they expect anger, and they expect you to shout, and they expect you to fight, and they expect you to beg. But when you give them nothing, and when you simply watch, and when you remain still, and when you refuse to give them the emotional response they were waiting for, that is when they begin to feel uncomfortable. Your lack of reaction exposes their behavior louder than your anger ever could, because you see, when you react with emotion, it gives them something to work with, and it gives them something to twist, and it gives them something to blame you for. But when you stay silent, and when you stay calm, and when you simply observe without responding, they have nothing to hold on to, and you punish them by not giving them the show they wanted, because observation without reaction is the highest form of control, and when you master this, you become untouchable. 2 is you do not argue, and you simply detach, because detachment is a language that toxic people cannot understand. And when someone hurts you and you choose not to explain yourself, and when you choose not to defend yourself, and when you choose not to argue or fight, it confuses them completely, because they expect you to engage, and they expect you to participate in the drama, and they expect you to give them your energy. But when you detach, and when you simply step back, and when you remove yourself from the situation without a word, they do not know how to respond. Your silence tells them you are done explaining what they already know, and you do not need to repeat yourself, and you do not need to make them understand, because they understood and they simply chose to ignore it. And you win not by fighting but by refusing to participate. And when you detach completely, and when you remove your energy from the situation, they finally feel the emptiness they created, and that emptiness becomes their punishment, and you did not have to say a single word. 3 is you choose distance over drama, because distance reveals more truth than confrontation ever will. And when you stop showing up, and when you stop reaching out, and when you stop being available, and when you stop giving them access to your life, something shifts, because they begin to notice your absence, and they begin to feel the space where you used to be, and they begin to realize what they had and what they lost. You confuse them the moment you stop giving them access, because they were used to having you there, and they were used to your presence, and they were used to your energy, and they were used to your attention. But the moment you pull away, and the moment you create distance, and the moment you become unavailable, they start to question everything, because silence plus distance equals a power they cannot touch, and you become untouchable when you stop entertaining chaos, and you do not need to announce your departure, and you do not need to chaos. Distance equals explain why you are leaving, because you simply need to go, and your absence will speak louder than your words ever could. 4 is you stay kind even when they expect an explosion, and this one confuses people the most, because when someone hurts you, they expect you to hurt them back, and they expect anger, and they expect bitterness, and they expect you to match their energy. But when you respond with kindness, and when you respond with calmness, and when you respond with grace, it throws them off completely. Your calmness exposes their instability, and when you remain peaceful while they are chaotic, and when you remain gentle while they are harsh, and when you remain kind while they are cruel, it creates a contrast they cannot ignore, because kindness under control is power and not weakness. And when you respond with grace, their guilt speaks louder than your words, because they begin to see themselves clearly, and they begin to see how they behaved, and they begin to feel the weight of their own actions. And your silence and kindness together create the lesson they were not ready for, and that lesson stays with them long after you are gone. 5 is you let karma handle the justice, because you do not chase revenge, and you trust timing. And when someone hurts you, the natural response is to want them to pay, and to want them to suffer, and to want them to feel what they made you feel. But chasing revenge only keeps you connected to the pain, and it keeps you tied to them, and it keeps you stuck in the past. When you release the need for revenge, and when you trust that life has its own way of teaching lessons, and when you step back and focus on your own peace, you free yourself, because people drown in the manipulation they create, and the energy they put out into the world eventually returns to them. And The way they treated you eventually catches up with them, and the lies they told eventually reveal themselves, because silence lets karma speak for you and life teaches them the lessons. You stopped wasting energy explaining, and you do not need to be the one who delivers the consequences, because you simply need to step aside and let life do its work. And when karma arrives, and when the lessons come, and when reality finally catches up with them, they will remember exactly what they did and exactly who they lost. 6 is you value peace more than people pleasing, and this is where everything changes, because control only works when you crave their approval, and manipulation only works when you need their validation, and guilt only works when you fear their disappointment. But the moment you choose peace, and the moment you decide that your calm is more important than their opinion, and the moment you stop trying to please them, they lose all power over you. The moment you choose peace, they lose access to your energy, and you stop bending yourself to make them comfortable, and you stop shrinking yourself to avoid their anger, and you stop apologizing for things that were never your fault, and you stop pleasing them, and suddenly they panic, because now they cannot control you, and now they cannot manipulate you, and now they cannot make you feel guilty, because peace is the boundary that exposes everyone's true intentions. And when you choose peace, the people who truly care will respect it, and the people who only wanted to control you will reveal themselves, and your peace becomes your protection, and your silence becomes your shield, and no one can take that from you. 7 is you let them wonder what changed, because mystery is more powerful than confrontation. And when you stop explaining yourself, and when you stop defending your choices, and when you stop giving them access to your thoughts, they are left with questions they cannot answer, like what happened, and why did they change, and why are they so calm, and why are they not reacting, and why are they not fighting? And these questions haunt them, and these questions keep them awake, and these questions force them to look at themselves. You stop explaining, and they start regretting, and your silence becomes the closure they never wanted, because they wanted you to give them reasons, and they wanted you to make it easy for them, and they wanted you to explain everything so they could twist it, and so they could blame you, and so they could feel justified. But when you give them nothing, and when you remain silent, and when you become unreadable, they have no choice but to sit with their own actions, and you become unreadable, and that is what breaks them, and your silence becomes the punishment they cannot escape. Ignorance hurts, but silence punishes, and people do not fear being exposed because they fear being ignored. And when you stop acknowledging their existence, and when you stop giving them your attention, and when you stop making them feel important, that is when the regret sets in, because your silence is the moment they finally meet the consequences of their own actions, and they cannot argue with silence, and they cannot fight with absence, and they cannot manipulate someone who is no longer there. When you walk away quietly, regret walks toward them loudly, and every memory of what they did, and every moment they took you for granted, and every word they should have said but did not, it all comes rushing back, and by then you are already gone, and you are already at peace, and you are already living a life they no longer have access to. People do not regret losing you when you shout, and they do not regret losing you when you beg, and they do not regret losing you when you fight for their attention, because they regret it when you finally go silent, and your silence is your power, and your peace is your protection, and your absence is your message. Stay calm and stay private and stay unreachable to those who took you for granted, and let them wonder and let them regret and let them learn, because the lesson they refuse to hear from your words they will finally understand through your calm silence. If this message touched something deep within your heart, and if you felt the truth in every word, then I invite you to share your favorite line in the comments below and let me know which point spoke to you the most. And if you wish to continue receiving messages that heal your heart and strengthen your spirit, then subscribe to Princess Leonor Wisdom and turn on the notification bell, because in this space we transform pain into power, and we turn silence into strength, and we discover that the greatest comeback is not revenge, because it is peace. Remember this truth always, that your silence is not weakness, because your silence is wisdom, and those who hurt you will one day understand exactly what they lost. Until we meet again through another message, stay peaceful and stay powerful, and never forget the strength that lives within your silence.